Recently, Sightings brought you UFO footage smuggled out of a super-secret military installation in Nevada. Well, since then, the tape of the anomalous craft has been undergoing analysis by an image enhancement expert. As Sightings correspondent Carla Wold reports, this expert has found similarities between the Nellis craft and many of the UFOs sighted in the long-term flap over Mexico City.
Since 1991, an alarming number of UFOs have been sighted by thousands of people in the skies above Mexico City. Now the strange invasion seems to be spreading north.
On its unknown aircraft. P1 control doesn't know what type of aircraft it is either.
You are hearing the voice of the American military, monitoring a UFO as it hovers over a secret desert facility, part of Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada. As part of Sightings' ongoing investigation into the Nellis craft, the video is being analyzed by a Defense Department subcontractor specializing in image enhancement. He believes the Nellis UFO bears an uncanny resemblance to many of the UFOs observed over Mexico City. Concerned that his startling conclusions could compromise his top-level security clearance, his identity is being concealed. This is the Nellis Air Force.
Right. This is the Nellis Air Force Base range footage. Now, this piece of video right here was taken in 1991 during the eclipse in Mexico City.
What specifically did you notice that was similar?
There appears to be 4 little bumps on there, and there's also 4 little bumps on this guy. We did do some extensive work on this spine area, this ridge along the top, and along this area here. And when we enhance these areas, it reconstructs very similar.
Is it this extreme black, this pitch black circle on each of these objects that sort of was the whistle for you, that sounded the alarm, like that there might be some similarity between these two objects?
Yes, yeah. That area was puzzling to us in the original analysis because it appeared to be so highly absorbent of light. Most objects illuminated in this bright a sky, even surfaces that are way down on the bottom out of the sunlight in deep shadow, still reflect light back to the camera. This object stops reflecting right here on this forward edge, and it falls off very rapidly to pure black down the center. Very, very black, what we call super black.
Do you know any aircraft? Are you familiar with any aircraft that would look like that?
No.
In the sky?
We looked at it in comparison with all known types of military and commercial and private type aircraft, but we were unable to find any wings or anything on the geometry of this.
Each UFO has a black ridge center, an identical profile, and a white diffuse shape shadowing the core. But these are not the characteristics that excite our expert, who's trained to analyze minute detail in satellite photos.
We took some video from a golf ball coming up through the sky and down to the green, produces a similar object to a UFO. It's a small white dot in the sky. We were able to go to those images and with very minimal work, able to bring out the dimples in the golf ball in flight. When we look at these images, we can't get the definition of the geometry that we would expect for objects as close as this one was to a very good camera. The objects by nature are fuzzy or undefined or unclear. This one was shot by a very expensive tracking camera on a very stable mount. This one was shot by a handheld consumer video camera. And there's no difference in resolution, and we find that puzzling, that no matter how many of these images you get from whatever source, they all have that ball of cotton syndrome or that fuzziness to them.
When they were seen only over Mexico City, it was a phenomenon. Now that the activity of seemingly identical UFOs has spread into American airspace, it can only be called a trend. The Sightings investigation will continue.
The Mexico City mass sightings continue unabated. After more than 4 years of persistent UFO encounters, there is still no consensus on what or who is responsible for these unexplained aircraft. I'll bring you my own report from Mexico City on a future edition of Sightings.